I want to welcome all of you entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. We have Sammy visiting us today in the audience. Sherry is my co-mod, my co-host, and Linda is also acting as a co-mod co-host today. Mason is also one of my co-mod co-hosts on a different call, but he's on today with Build a Better Business. So this is all about entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, but the month of September is all about blogging. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We've got some writers in the group. We've got some bloggers already in the group. So it's going to be kind of elementary, kind of like blogging 101. So bear with us, but we are trying to appeal to some of those folks that just haven't pulled the trigger yet and want to get started on blogging. And so that's what we're doing today. I want to introduce myself a little later because I'm going to actually show you the Academy and where to find some of this information. And so you'll get to see what it is that I do when I share that. So I want to jump over to Sherry, and Sherry, share with the group, because again, this will go back out not only as this training module for blogging, but it'll also be uploaded as our podcast. And so we'll have folks that will be tapping in later and listening. And so Sherry, share with the folks what it is that you do and how folks can connect with you.
So I'm a classroom coach. I help teachers understand writing challenges and math challenges and how the writing connects with the mathematics. So I have professional development that I have created along with a math teacher, John Elise Panzik, and we do a podcast. We have ebooks, we have paperback books, we have courses, we have all kinds of materials to different degrees of complexity, interfacing with the products that we have developed. And my specialty really is, why can't kids write, and what is going on that is preventing that writing from happening. I don't do tutoring and I don't do direct treatment at this point in my career. Just physically can't manage that with students anymore, because there's more to writing than meets the eye. Writing is really, it starts from that thought that you have in your head of, oh, maybe I should write that down, like even the grocery list. We need oatmeal, we need eggs. That thought and that processing and that problem solving is part of the writing process. And I have been doing my research on what takes that thought and prevents it from getting down on paper. So I'm not helping kids directly with how can we better get you to have legible handwriting. I'm looking at how do we get the teachers to help them have legible handwriting so they don't have to have the referral to occupational therapy. Does that make any sense, Miss Kathy and Miss Linda?
It does. It does. And just for those of you that are listening, when Sherry's talking about writing, sometimes when you tune into some of my channels, we have a whole Ohio Writers Guild writers channel, and we have a blogging channel. And so all of that is all about creative writing. And Sherry is talking more about the actual physical ability to write down on paper your thoughts. So hers is much more fundamental than when we just talk about we're teaching writing. it's the same topic but yet different. So hopefully
we're teaching how to write the letter B.
Yes, it's
versus
more
how to write the B went into the nest kind of writing.
Right. And so we're going to be talking today about writing a blog. And so all of this ties together. So you see why I have Sherry as my co-mod, my co-host. And when we're talking about building a better business, which is the overarching topic for today, is building a better business. I have watched Sherry go from a thought to taking action to perfecting her business to what it is today. And I tell you what, she is amazing to watch. So Sherry, kudos to you for everything that you've done.
So,
Another,
Kathy, before we move on to Linda, did you know
huh?
that we're also starting a subscription box?
Oh, good, 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 good.
So
Okay.
that subscription box, we're going to start out with a holiday box. And I've been working on some of the business aspects of
Mhm.
that uh, launch, and it's been very fun. And if I would turn my webcam, my corner over here is looks like a Walmart shopping cart there, Mason.
You know what? I love that, Sherry, and thanks for the referral to Mason. We were just chatting about what he does for a living. But again, what Sherry is indicating is we have been talking for some time now, each month on a different topic on building a better business and building out our products and services that we're offering. It's how we're monetizing our businesses. And this is one way that Sherry is now monetizing her business by having a subscription service. So again, for the listeners, I'm just trying to tie it together so you see how it all works together. I'm going to jump over to Linda. Linda, tell us. Oh, Sherry, put in the chat under everyone how folks can connect with you. And then Linda, tell us a little bit about you. This is another gal that I love watching. She has put together an amazing business and is continuing to do so. And so, Linda, tell us what it is that you do and how folks can connect with you.
Okay, thank you. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Um, so my overarching theme is abundance and quality of life, ease of life. Um, I have a domain called ichooseabundance.com. You can go there and find out things that I'm into. I will throw some stuff into the chat as well. One lane of that is helping entrepreneurs and people who have a message of any sort that they want to get out to use tech platforms to get that out. You might need a web page to send people to. You might need the ability to collect emails um, with a landing page so that you can stay in touch with your ideal people, whoever they might be. I can help you affordably and easily with very user friendly um, products, I'll call them, to get that done. Another lane that I'm operating in helping people to live their best lives is to create their lasting legacy for the people that they love and to do it now so that the burden is reduced on their loved ones, and it can be a time of blessing and support if you take care of these things now. So the Legacy of Love project is what I do to help people with that, and I will put my contact information in the chat.
Very nice. Thank you, Linda. And so again, for those that are listening and maybe even listening to this video later on, when Linda is talking about having the platforms, again, it's the way she's building out her business, and she is using some affiliate links to monetize her business. Again, we were all talking about building a better business and how we can monetize what it is that we're doing. And by affiliate links, she is able to monetize that. And it's the platform she's using, so she knows it very well and can help you if you decide that you want to click through and get on some of the same platforms as her. And then, of course, her Legacy of Love project is, again, another one of her products and services that she offers to her community. So, Linda, please put your contact information there in the chat under everyone. Now, I'm gonna kind of combine a couple of you together, Linda and Estella, for just a minute, and then I'm gonna go over to Estella and let her tell us what she does. But one of the things that we're doing in Build a Better Business, and again, for those that are listening, we are trying to build a community, and because once we build a community and folks get to know, like, and trust us, then when we put a product or service out there, they're leaning in instead of leaning out, and they don't feel like they're trying to be sold something. You know, nobody wants to be sold anything. It's and again, my perfect example is if you go looking for a new car and you know you want a new car, you already know kind of what your price point is. You kind of know what kind of cars you like or what you're looking for. But as soon as you show up on a car lot, and you hate to do it because you know as soon as you do, all these car salesmen are going to immediately come towards you, you know, on a mission to get you to sign on the dotted line before you leave their lot. And sometimes you're like, I'm just looking. I just want to look. And so what happens is that we went there to the car lot because we want to buy, but we don't want to be sold. We want to buy a car, but we don't want to be sold. We don't want somebody that is just saying, oh, here's what we have in your price point. Which one do you want? Sign here. Because we feel pressured. Well, your clients feel the same way. They don't want to be sold, but they do want to buy if they need your information, but they need to get to know you, like you, and trust you first. So that's what we're talking about here. And so with that said, one of the ways that I can build community is through an online product called meetup.com. And under Meetup, you can put together a group and you just describe who you are, what you're doing, what you're offering, what you're bringing to the table. And then folks will join your group. So now what it is they're saying, I'm interested in your topic. I'm interested in your subject matter. And so whenever I see an opportunity to create a group or have a group, because it does cost for you to be on Meetup, then I picked up several groups where folks have just over the years decided that they wanted to, drop it or whatever and leave the group. And so what happens is that group does not have an organizer. And so I have stepped up and become the organizer of a couple of groups. Well, as I've gotten larger, I realize I have to stop. I can't keep just taking on more and more groups, even though I love it. Again, there is a cost to have these groups. And so I just finally made a decision. Stop, Kathy, stop. You've already got some pretty big groups. And so it's time to spread the cheer. So I had the opportunity, and Ruth isn't on the call today, but with Ruth and Linda and Estella, and Debbie is under the weather, not on the call today. So for 4 of my gals already, I have found or handed off a group. And so I helped Ruth. I assisted her. She actually found the group herself, but I assisted her in becoming the organizer of one where the organizer was leaving. I was able to help Debbie pick up a group that was just hanging out there without an organizer. I'm handing one of my groups over to Linda. And just this weekend, I was able to help Estella pick up a group. One of our biggest yet, Estella, 835 members or 30, and 3 people joined this morning. I saw on my emails that you've got new members that have joined already this morning. So anyway, with all of that said, I want to go to Estella next. And Estella, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do, and then talk a little bit about that meetup group. Estella, and you're on mute. Yep, unclick your mute button there.
Okay, I am just thrilled. Sometimes things just come out of the blue, and when they come out of the blue, for me, they come from the Lord. But anyway, Kathy did, she saw a group, she thought of me. The lady is just incredible. Kathy, I have not forgotten to do what I said I would do for you.
You're good.
I spent so much time editing that video, it like sucked my whole time up. But anyway, what I do is I help people get access to legal services and identity theft services for a fraction of what it normally costs. Our members can have, not only do they have an attorney, they have a law firm, and they have that nationwide. So if they're ever traveling or whatnot, they can still get legal services from the top tier law firms in the country. And we, for less than $1 a day for personal, they get their will, living will, and all of those things, living will, a consultation, and a whole lot of other things they can get as well. And then for identity theft, we are according to Forbes, U.S. News and World Today, U.S. News Today. Anyway, they have ranked us as one of the top identity theft programs. And what we do for that is we have a licensed private investigator restore you, so you don't have the trauma of trying to figure that out for yourself. And I help small businesses as well. We have a phenomenal program for that, in terms of helping businesses be able to not only defend themselves, but also to be able to build their business. So, but what Kathy did on, I believe it was Saturday, she called me and said she had this group, and she said it's right up your street, and it was because it's she helped me name it. I knew nothing about Meetup, okay, except that I think a couple of times I've joined, but she was just extremely instrumental in guiding me in terms of getting it set up, making sure that I didn't have a conflict with what they already had on the website, so that someone couldn't come back and say you stole our information and whatnot. And she also
But
helped me.
just to be clear, the organizer of the group had totally stepped down,
Right.
and the group was just hanging there with no organizer. And what Estella is referring to is and especially since Estella is in the whole legal field, we did not want any of the members of that group to think that we stole any of their content. And so Meetup had offered the group and said, please, does any member of this group want to step up and become the organizer? And that's when I contacted Estella and said, would you be interested in stepping up as the organizer? But if you do, then let's not use any of their content in case they had it, copyrighted or whatever. And we don't want to infringe on any of their information. So back over to you, Estella. I'll let you finish. I just wanted to make sure that that was really clear to our audience.
Yes, yes. Love the name that we came up with. Kathy is I got one of her secrets though. She uses ChatGPT. I mean, she is a master at that. But we came up with a name, and it just clicked with me as soon as she said it. It hit my spirit. It was Ohio Business Leaders Network. And it has 837 members. And, again, since I've not really participated in very many meetups, let alone ran one, Kathy is my co-sponsor with that. So she'll be helping to guide me along in that. But I'm just extremely excited. What shall I say? I don't want to say scared, but but just extremely excited and know that I have work to do. But the way that she ushered it up to me was that I can still do what I'm doing, and just this will be something where I can add value to the business community. It's not about selling what I have. It's about letting them know what I have that's available, but it's not about selling what I have. It's about helping them to be able to get some additional information. I'm sure that with, especially, I'm thinking of Sherry and what she does, and I'm like, that would be somebody I would interview, because these people have kids. And definitely Linda, I would definitely want to do an interview with her, because they have businesses and they need to think about those things. And of course, Kathy and what she's doing in terms of helping people think outside the box and have an additional income, and whoever else. But I will be finding a list of people that I can interview. I'm not real sure about setting up the live events. I know I need to do something. Perhaps I'll do something maybe in the latter part of November or the beginning of December, just as a
well, and just as a thought, we're talking also in Build a Better Business and it's all about building relationships. That's what Estella is trying to say. She's there to build relationships within this group. And don't forget, Estella, there's also the opportunity to do something collaborative. I mean, you could do something collaborative and call on the Mastermind members here in our circle to be a part of that with you. And you could bring tons of value and all of our groups together, because again, together we go so much further. Than we can go faster alone, but we can go further together. And so by collaborating, which is my whole goal, is to collaborate, really helps us build all of our businesses. And again, my favorite is the rising tide raises all the ships. And so that's why I'm always wanting to give more. And whenever I give more, it always comes back. So just so all of you are on the same page with us, that's kind of where we're at. Estella, thank you so much for sharing that. I was so pumped when I got off my call with Estella, and I turned to Mark and I said, wow, I can't believe, I said, I saw that this morning. And how many hours were we on the phone, Estella? 2, 3?
No, it was 3.5.
3.5 hours we were on the phone making this thing happen. And I finally turned to Mark and I said, wow, I said, that was so cool that I was able to do that for Estella. And it was from start to finish. I mean, we discovered the group was hanging out there, to naming the group, well, to her stepping up. Well, first we have to back up and say this, to her joining as a member, because she was not a member of that group. So we had to get her in as a member, then her stepping up as organizer, and then renaming the group, then re-identifying the process of the group. And all of that, we did all of that in that time frame from start to finish. And finally, Mark said, yeah, that is definitely one of your superpowers.
Yes, it definitely is.
Because he was listening to all of that behind the scenes as we were putting that together. He goes, what just happened there? And I said, oh, you're not even going to believe what just happened. So anyway, we are so excited about that. And I'm just thrilled that I am able to be a part of that. Now, I didn't get anything out of that except the excitement of seeing Estella have an organization that now she can build relationships in, with 837 members. And it was like 835 when we did it. So she's had 2 people even join her group with her definition, and where she's going with the group, she's already had two new people join. So anyway, so enough on that. I have Sammy, and then I have just a DW as guest attendees today. Do either of you, Sammy, would you like to share where you're coming to us from and a little bit about what you're doing in business?
Yeah, certainly. I am in Jackson, Ohio, in
Okay,
Little Town in Oak Hill.
I know the area.
Okay, and I am in real estate. I am
Okay.
working on trying to get that up and going. So I've been looking around at different ways to improve my business, and that's when I wandered upon this webinar. I'm not sure what to call it.
Nope,
And
you're perfect. You're perfect. Yes.
so that's why I'm here today, is to see what I can learn.
Okay, perfect. Well, today we're going to be talking about blogging and why it is important no matter what your business is, because it's a way that you get to freely talk about yourself and not be salesy. That's why blogging is so important. But thank you. Thank you, Sammy. We have DW. Would you like to share where you're coming to us from and your connection in business? And again, on a Tuesday at noon, folks may be multitasking, and so I don't know who DW actually is or where they're coming to us from. But if you can hear us, jump in at any time. We see that you're still muted. If you want to chat, you need to unmute in case you're not familiar with the Zoom call. So I'll just mention that. Okay, we are going to get started. And Sherry, can you, I know that you clicked your video off. Can you still hear me pretty well? And Sherry may.
I'm fine.
Okay. Can you kind of monitor the chat for me? Because once I share, I can't see it. Okay, very good. I am going to share my screen. And so bear with me here just a moment while I get over to what I want to show you. A little bit about me. I am coming to you from Canal Winchester, Ohio. Mark and I travel quite a bit. We're trying to travel even more. But I am actually back in Ohio, Canal Winchester, right outside of Columbus. This is my website. It is also my online academy. I have an online international academy. And if you can see, I always have to move us around a little bit because what you guys can see and our faces and all of the toolbar and stuff is sometimes over our faces. So I have to move it around. But you can see up here at the top, it's Kathy Benner International Academy.teachable.com. So that is the academy. But if you just go to kathybenner.com, you'll get to the same homepage. So just to let you know how to find me. So just remember kathybenner.com. Now, when we're talking about building a better business, we talk about the first thing you have to have is kind of your elevator speech, your, your 30-second commercial, I am blank who does blank for whom, well, I'm Kathy Benner and I am a passive income mentor, coach, teacher, and I want to help you learn how to create passive income so you don't have to punch a time clock. So that's just my quick and easy value proposition statement. So we talk about that first. And the reason I want to go through this is so that those that are new understand. One of the things early on, once you have your VPS, is you have to have your story. Your story is going to be the cornerstone of your business, because that is what makes folks lean in. And the reason that I'm going to start with your story today is because that is so important when you're blogging. Your story is one of the most important pieces of your blog, because you want to always weave your story in there. And so I realized that if the story needs to be front and center, I created a tab right here that says Kathy's story. Now, you don't have to have this on your website. A lot of people will have their about me page, or they'll have work with me page or whatever. But I actually called it Kathy's story because your story is so important. And I'm just going to click on it briefly. For those of you that are brand new, please feel free to steal anything from me that might work for you. Just make it your own. Don't steal it verbatim, make it your own. But please feel free to do that, because it's hard. It's hard to get started. And sometimes, you see somebody else's stuff and you're like, wow, I wish I could do that. And you can. Here's what I want to tell you. Under Kathy's story, I have these prompts. And if you take away my words and just keep the prompts, and the reason I wrote it this way is so that you could steal the prompts. So here's the prompts. So you just take this prompt. Let me tell you a quick story. Put 3 bullet points about you under this tell you a quick story. It says, then something happened that changed my life forever. Take away this writing, put 3 bullet points about what was something that happened that changed your life forever. You get the point. So just go down this and steal the prompts, fill in your own answers. And what it's doing, this is writing for you the perfect hero's journey. And you can Google that. You can Google, what is a hero's journey? And the hero's journey is how you started out with a problem. You discovered a solution. When you thought everything was not going to work, you finally figured out that thing to make it work. And now you want to share that with the world. So it doesn't matter what business you're in. It doesn't matter what it is that you're trying to monetize. I know we had Sammy was talking about real estate. Even if you're selling real estate, you can talk about, let me tell you a quick story. I didn't have a house. I wanted to own a piece of real estate. I finally, and now I've learned how to do that. Now I want to help you find your first home. So you can create your story. And whenever you talk about your story, people will lean in. If you just walk in and say, I'm selling this and you should buy it, people are going to go, oh, it goes back to that car salesman. Nobody wants to, nobody wants to be sold. Everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold. If it's something that you need in your life and somebody is offering it to you in a relationship type environment, you're more likely to buy it. And that is why we talked about the meetup groups. And that's why we're doing these free webinars online, is because we're building relationships and we're trying to, again, the rising tide raises all the ships. So we're just trying to share what we have. So anyhow, Kathy's story, please feel free to work with those prompts. I'm going to go over here to the more button and click down. And today, here's where you can see all of our free meetups. We've got a health and wellness lane, a real estate lane. Sammy, notice that we have a real estate investors lane, entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. That's where we are today. Authors and writers, networking and connecting. And then it goes on down to my other offers and services. So I'm going to click on the entrepreneurs and solopreneurs today. And I'm going to scroll down. First of all, here's where you can see all of our replays. So if you're interested in listening or watching any of our replays, here's the button for that. But then you can scroll down and here is the actual course. And this is what I want to show you today. Once you get into the course, we go through, and here's this link that you found us today. Here's my calendar. It shows all of our events. But as you come down, you will see everything that's in the course. We started off by adding more heart to your business. Then here's how you can create that BPS that I just talked about. And then your story, which I just mentioned. And then we go into serving as selling, and then how to create your website. And as we scroll on down, we talk about your free offers, your first base offers, your second base, your third base. Finally, what is your home run package? And then how to create that website and sales funnel. Now, once you get to here, this is a stopping point. This is where you've created everything that you're monetizing. This is all of the offers, the offerings that you have out there. Now, how do you get people to know you have those offerings? And here's where we make the transition. Once we get through creating all of our offers, we've already got our VPS, we've got our story, we know who we're going to serve to try to help market. We know what our first base, second base, third base, home run is. Now, how do we get people to know we have that? And here's how you point back to all of that. The first way to point back is with a blog. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The second way to point back to that is with a podcast. And the third way to point back to that is public speaking, because you can reach a ton more people in the room by telling your story to a group of 400 than you can one-on-one. And again, even Sammy, you're talking about selling real estate. If you can get yourself in front of a larger audience, that is a free, easy, fast way to advertise yourself and build those relationships. So we're not going to be talking about public speaking today. We're going to go back to the blogging. And here's what I want to talk about. Business and blogging. And so we're going to click on this one. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but I am going to go through a couple. And this is why blogging is important. Number one, it brings traffic back to your website. Every time you blog, you get to mention your website. You can't go in anybody's Facebook group and put links into your website because they're like, nope, we're going to not let you post here because you're not allowed to put links in here, because they don't want people to feel like they're being sold in these groups. These groups are to build relationships when you're in a Facebook group. So they don't want people in there just blasting out all of their website links. So when you're a blogger, you get to post because it's your blog. You can post any link you want in your own blog. And here's what I want you to know. The more times that you point back to your website, the higher your website is in the search engines. Did you know that? The more that folks link back to your website, the higher your website comes out. When you Google real estate in Jackson, Ohio, Sammy can come out on top. If she just starts pointing to her website, she'll be the first thing that comes up in any search engine in that area. So that's why it is so important to bring traffic to your website. So blogging is the way to do that. You can do search engine optimization, you can do social media, and you can do blogging. So today we're talking about the blogging. Okay, blogs are great for the search engine optimization. Blogging is great because search engines love content. And so, and I know we're all going to struggle with content, and that's one of the things I'm going to demo today. So when you're talking about content, you're like, okay, well, what kind of content? What do I blog about that I can then put back to my business? You can blog about anything as long as you have a segue within the blog as to how it connects. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. That's not as hard as you think. Okay. So blogging is great for content. So now, anytime you Google anything, let's just say you're going to Google, how do I can tomatoes? You're going to go to, and when I say Google, it's whatever search engine you're using. But if you go to your search engine and say, how do I can tomatoes? A bunch of articles come up on how to can tomatoes. Guess what they are? They're blog posts. Most often, they're blog posts or maybe a magazine article. If somebody's published in some, magazine that has to do with homesteading, or there might be an article in there about canning tomatoes. But oftentimes they're a blog post. So you see how blogs are great for the search engine optimization, because the search engines love content to search for, because that's how folks are searching. Now, you can also describe your business in detail. You can't go into a Facebook group and describe your business in detail because people are like, nope, you're trying to promote yourself. And that's usually one of the group rules is you can't promote yourself. You can only be there to help lift up other people and add value to the group. You cannot go in there and promote yourself. Well, you can in your blog because it's your blog. You can describe your business in full detail in your blog. You can demonstrate your authority. Okay. You can put in content that shows that this is your superpower. This is your sweet spot. You know this stuff. Yes, Estella, you have your hand up.
Yes, Kathy, one of the questions I had, well, the question that I have is, if I have a blog and I post that on Facebook, I can get people to look at my stuff without taking them. Can I do that, or am I
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And again, you can, because if there's a blog on there, somebody says, oh, this is my latest blog, you know, people can click through on it or not. But if you put it in your profile, it's your profile. Now, here's another trick, and we're not talking about social media today, but here's another trick. If you are in the market to sell something and you've got your personal profile on Facebook, you can create a group for your business and it's yours. So you get to post as many links as you want in your own group. You just can't go post a bunch of links in somebody else's group. But by posting the link in your own group, again, you're pointing back to your website or to your blog, and whatever you point back to, the number of points back to that makes a difference on how high it comes up in the search engines when somebody is searching for that content. Again,
Okay.
the rising tide raises all the ships. You can create that within your own little circle. Okay. And that's why every time I see that Linda posts something or Sherry posts something or Estella, even when you post something, every time I see when you post something, I always try to like it and share it. And because it points back to what you're doing, which then raises it in the search.
Okay.
Okay. Now you can also, within a blog, you can develop your voice. Okay. Sometimes if you're just getting started, you might be thinking, oh, I don't know how I want to sound. Do I want to sound more Reader's Digest version? And for those of you that wonder what that phrase means, it's been said that Reader's Digest is written at an 8th grade level and that folks love it because they don't have to sit and figure it out. They can just read it for entertainment and it's great. So you get to decide, do you want to write at that level? Do you want to write at a more technical level? It probably depends on your content, on what you want your voice to be when you're doing your blog, but you get to do that. You get to decide. Customer insight. What happens now with a blog is that you can have your audience can then ask questions. They can start a conversation with you, or they can comment on your blog and they can say, oh, this was amazing. This is exactly what I needed today because I just went through this scenario. And see, now that gives you an opportunity to keep the conversation going, because what are we doing? We're building relationships. And so when somebody comments on your blog, you get to keep the conversation going. Again, I'm going back to social media because whenever you're on Facebook or Instagram, it's the same thing. When somebody comments on any of your posts, be sure and comment back, because that is keeping the conversation going. And guess what? The more you do that, the more your post will show up, the more your blog will show up. The more you have a conversation, the higher it comes up in the search engines. And so it's also opportunities for sharing. Okay. You just get to, blogs are great for sharing. You get to share very friendly information. You can take a snippet out of your blog and turn it into a social media post. And I'm going to show you how to do that. You can link other relevant content. Here is the fun part. Remember, I said when you go together, you can go a lot further. You can go faster alone, but you can go further together. If I see that Estella or Sherry or Linda or anyone in the group post something that will uplift my group, if they can slant their content and make it where it uplifts the whole group at large, I'm definitely willing to share that inside my groups. You see that? And the blogging is the easiest because I have a whole writers group. And so whenever any of anybody on this call, if you post a blog out on social media, I'm going to share it over in my writers group, and I'm going to say, here's one of our bloggers, read her latest blog, because it's a great way to show, see it again, the rising tide raises all the ships. Again, it shows that the bloggers group is doing something. They're actually blogging, but it puts your blog in front of another whole audience that otherwise would not have seen it. And inside your blog, remember, you get to talk all about your business and how to connect with you and what it is that you do, because it's your blog. So you get to do all of that. And so it does not look like you're being salesy or you are posting a link, because I shared it because it had value to the group. So it's kind of an indirect way of you getting to post your information. You see why a blog is so easy, and it's fun and it's free. And I'm going to show you why it's fun and free. Okay, so there you have it. Now, the first step is you have to find a good blog name. Now, Estella, we just went through the whole naming thing for her meetup group, but you have to have a blog name. So if you haven't decided your blog name, here's what I want to tell you. Don't think too narrow. Don't think too narrow. I would rather see all of you have what's called a lifestyle blog instead of a technical blog. Now, unless your lane is so narrow that you're only going to talk about, I'm going to use Sammy as an example again. If she's only going to talk about real estate, she could have a real estate name in her blog. But if she thinks she might want to talk about hiking at Hocking Hills one weekend, and maybe, you know, hey, I looked at real estate while I was over in the Hocking Hills region, you know, she could weave that together and make it a lifestyle blog, and she could talk about more than real estate, but then she could weave the real estate into the blog post. So it's still applicable to her real estate. Estella could have a lifestyle blog. She could talk about, I know she's faith-based. She could talk even about being faith-based. And again, here's what I want to tell you. This is your blog. Don't shy away from who you are thinking that you'll get a bigger audience. You want to show people who you are, because your perfect audience will find you. Okay, am I right? How many can tell me I'm right on that? Your audience will find you. So if you're faith-based, weave that into your blog, because there are folks out there that would much rather do business with you once they know that about you. So your audience will find you. So don't shy away from who you are. So when you're thinking about a blog name, I want you to list every single thing that is a passion of yours. I love reading. I love hiking. I love biking. Mark and I are ballroom dancers. I like writing. I love cozy mysteries. You see, I love real estate. You see where things can just keep coming, and make a list of all those things that you like to write about. And then try to think of a name that would be an overarching umbrella to all of those topics. So for me, for example, I listed all those things that I just now said. And I thought, oh, what do all of those have in common? I thought, wow, none of those really have anything in common. I mean, some of them are physical activity, you know, like the hiking and the biking and the dancing. But then I've got the writing and the real estate and networking. And I thought, how does this all come together? And so I kept just asking myself, you know, why do I like those things? Well, I like those things because, you know, I just want to do those whenever I have some free time. And well, you know, what do I have to do to have free time? Well, I want passive income. So you see the thought process, you know, so I want passive income. Well, why do you want passive income? Well, I want passive income so I don't have to punch a time clock. Well, how come you don't want to punch a time clock? Well, I don't want to punch a time clock because I don't want to be tied to a 9 to 5. And I use that, you know, phrase in general. Some of us are working 3 to 11. It's not like Mason, he's working night shift. I don't want to be tied to having to punch a time clock. I want to have freedom. Well, why do you want to have freedom? Well, because I want to live my life on my terms. And so you see the thought process. I just kept asking why. And I had to go about 7 layers deep before I finally said, because I want freestyle living. I want to live my life on my terms when I want, and I don't want to have to be tied in a box. Now, for those of you that don't know me, I spent 25 years working in the beauty salon business, and I was a nail tech. So I sat behind a nail table 10 hours a day, 6 days a week for 25 years. And that's why I do not want to punch a time clock, because I've been there, done that. And so freestyle living became my overarching title. And so I hope that helps. Sherry, you have your hand up. Yes, comment, question.
Just reflecting back to Sammy's comment, and she's in real estate and she's wondering how to bring her blog back if she's talking about her hobbies and passions and stuff like that back to real estate. So can you give examples of how you brought freestyle living and real estate together? So for instance, your blogs about nutrition, how did you relate that to real estate? Or did it not go in the same actual blog? So Sammy's
Okay.
asking for some examples.
Yep, I understand the question. Once I came up with my overarching theme for my blog, which was freestyle living, then I have about 5 different lanes, and you would see, and I'd have to get out of this to show you. Well, maybe I can show you. Bear with me. Yep, here. You can see where I have 5 different lanes. I have the health and wellness, the real estate, the entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, authors and writers, and network and connecting. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different lanes. Inside of those 5 different lanes, what I do is I can blog, and I try to rotate. And just to give Sammy an idea, because everything's in a system for me, every single Monday at noon, I talk, and today it's Tuesday because Monday was Labor Day, but every single Monday at noon, I talk about a different one of my topics. And so that, whatever that topic is for that week, that's what I blog about. But I put it all in one blog under freestyle living, because I talk about how you can be more free if you have good health and wellness. And then maybe the next week I talk about how you can have more freestyle living if you invest in real estate and have some passive income. And then I talk about how you can have freestyle living by creating a better business, which is the topic we're on this week. And then I talk about how you can have more freestyle living by writing and being an author. And again, there's a whole blogging course there in my authors and writers. And then finally, I talk about how you can have more freestyle living by networking and connecting and building relationships. And so I don't necessarily have to tie all 5 topics together in the same blog. I just have that overarching freestyle living as my blog. And then I can talk about all the different lanes that I'm in. Is that helpful, Sammy? You can unmute and chat if you want.
Yes, that was very good.
Okay, so as I don't know what your other interests are, but you know, let's just say that hiking is one of your interests. You can talk one day all about hiking, and if you wanted to tie it into the real estate, you can say, oh, and as I was hiking, I passed this great cabin, and hey, if anybody is interested in having a cabin like that, get in touch with me, because that's what I do. See, so you can tie it together, but you don't have to tie it together all in the same blog post, as long as your overarching title encompasses everything that you do.
Okay.
Okay.
So I don't have like huge hobbies. I have kids that mostly take up a lot of my time.
I get
So
that.
I wondered if I could like somehow not blog like specifically about them, but like something around the children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, maybe it's maybe you're going to blog about and again, I'm just going to make this up. So let's just say you want to blog something about 5 helpful tips to get your kids on the bus in the morning. And then My favorite starting line is, I don't know about you, but as for me, I love that line, because you're not really putting your ideas and thoughts on someone else. You're inviting them kind of into your thoughts, because you're saying, well, I don't know about you, but as for me, getting these kids on the bus in the morning is a big chore. So let me tell you 5 great tips that I've discovered. And you see what you're doing is you're putting yourself out there. You're talking, it's a lifestyle blog. So you're talking about something that's actually going on in your life. And then you can even weave into that. You know, I had to get out the door today because I had these real estate appointments because I'm a real estate agent. And these are some tips that help me. Well, people reading your blog, they may not be a real estate agent, but maybe they have to punch a time clock. And so they're going to click into that going, oh, I need some tips on getting my kids on the bus too. So you see how you can tie that together. Is that helpful?
Yes, yes. That was such a great idea. That was perfect.
Okay, Linda.
So I just wanted to add a comment along that same line for Tammy. Um, I have a friend in business who uses stories about his family to bring value to his followers and relates it to business, or in your case, real estate. And it could be anything like, I'm having trouble getting my kids to get up in the morning during the summer, or my son showed a lot of character during a setback during a baseball game that he was a part of, or I'm working with my kids on how to manage their money by, not just giving an allowance, but by earning. And then he just takes these life things, and it could just be buying something, buying a camper trailer or buying a new car and working with the salesperson. But all these life lessons that can tie into the thing that you do, and you're just pulling from your regular daily life and finding value and finding a teachable moment in it. So I hope that helps in some way.
Linda, that's wonderful. That's perfect. And that's a perfect way to tie in anything that's going on in your life. You can tie it into your, because again, when we're an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, our business is our life. It's all in there. There's, I don't know about you. I love that phrase. I don't know about you, but as for me, I'm always working and I'm always not working at the same time. Because whenever I'm out to dinner, somebody might go, oh my gosh, you're Kathy Benner. I'm struggling with getting my blog. Next thing you know, I'm kind of coaching them over the dinner table. I'm like, I scoot over in the booth and say, have a seat. Let's chat about that. And Mark just accepts that these days. But on the other side of the coin, he loves airplanes. He works on airplanes. And oftentimes we're scooting over in the booth so that he and somebody can do an airplane deal. So we both understand that that's just who we are, because what we do is part of who we are. So, and I know, Sammy, in real estate, I know that's the case when you're a real estate agent. You're never off duty. I get that. Any other comments about coming up with a blog name? And again, that's something I can work with you one-on-one. If, again, I'm going to show you this. If you come back here, there's a chat with Kathy button. If you go to the chat with Kathy, here is a 30-minute coffee chat. If you're in the tribe already, there's virtual office hours that you're welcome to click through, or you can even just buy a coaching package. If you just say, oh, I really want to get there faster, I just want to work with Kathy one-on-one, feel free to do that. But there's a 30-minute coffee chat. Once you're part of the tribe, you get unlimited virtual office hours. So just so you guys know that, I'm here to help, to try to help you, take your business to the next step, whatever that is. Now, once you come up with a blog name, now you have to get your blog online. Now, that one is a little tougher, because for those of you that have not done that yet, you might go, oh my gosh, oh, there's so many choices out there. How do I pick which platform? Now, don't overthink it. I'm here to tell you, this is going to blow your mind. All a blog is a little website. That's all it is. It's just a website. It's just a website for your blog. So you can do one of two things. If you already have a website, you can create a blogging tab. right on your own website that you already have and put your blog right there. Or you can go out and purchase a blogging platform, which is just a little website. I chose HostGator, but these days, and let's see if I can find it. I'm going to jump over to my calendar for a minute. And this is my own personal calendar. If I click on these little dots up here in the corner and scroll down, this is all my Google stuff because my Google Calendar is under Google. And look what's here, Blogger. If you click on the Blogger that's already in your Google suite of everything, it is free. And you can just create your blog right here. It's free. And once you create your blog, and put your name in, it'll say Blogger, or it'll have www, then it'll have your blog name .blogger.com. That's going to be your URL. You can pay a little extra to get the word blogger taken out of this URL up here. But if you want the free one, for example, my blog is Freestyle Living. It would say www.freestyleliving.blogger.com. It just has that extra word blogger in there because it's free. But this is a great way to get started. And you just go through and you can pick any template they have. You choose the perfect design. You can get a domain personally if you want the blogger taken out, or you can just use the free one. Then you can earn money. You can get paid. You can do Google Ads down the road. You can always put in affiliate links throughout your blog. You get to know your audience. They can communicate. You can start building those relationships. Plus you get to put your memories in there if you want. You can, as you're Googling about the things, or as you're blogging about the things in your life, because it's a lifestyle blog. And there's millions of folks that are on it. And so this is just an easy, fast, free way. So if you're listening to this and you have not started a blog, you don't know where to go, you don't want to pay any money until you get it up and running and see how it's going, feel free to go over into your Google suite and scroll down to blogger.com. Okay, so that's just my little tip for the day to get a free site. However, I want to actually show you mine. This is my blog. And where did it go? Hello. This is my blog. As soon as it comes up, it's trying. There it is. And I am using HostGator. You do not have to use HostGator. I happen to be using HostGator. And so mine is just a little 3-page website. It's my homepage, and I actually, on my homepage, I actually named it Freestyle Living Blog. So anybody that lands here knows that it's a blog site. I don't have a homepage and then a tab here that says blog that they have to click through. My homepage is my blog. And then I have a work with me page, short and sweet. My work with me page, it just tells who I am and just my little quick bio. So, and me with my hair colored. Yeah, I quit coloring my hair. I should change my picture, shouldn't I? And then a connect page, and it's just my address, my info, and then my social media to stay in touch. And it's just a way that folks can fill out this little form that says, I want to connect with you. I have a question or whatever. So they can connect with me, they can work with me, and then the homepage. And the homepage, like I said, is the blog page. My computer's slow today. So this is my actual homepage, and I'll click here on this first article. And so recently I have been working with biohacking my health, understanding autophagy and the body's natural cleansing process. So I wrote a blog article on that. But here are a bunch, and I have to move our faces again. Here are a bunch of my articles. And so you can just go through these, and, it goes on and on and on. Here's all the different blog posts. And the reason that I picked HostGator is because this was already a prefab blog. All I had to pick was the colors. And it already had all of this done. I didn't have to create it. And that's like the blogger over here, the one that we were talking about, where you can create your own blog. It's already done. All you're going to do is pick the colors and the pictures and pop your blog post in there, which is why I like this blogger.com. And that's all I did on mine is I just popped the picture and the blog post in here. And when I hit publish, it puts it all in this format. I didn't have to figure out how to get this to scroll. I didn't have to figure out how to get all these tags to come up because HostGator did all of that for me. Okay. These are all the different blog posts I've written, by the way, all these tags. So you can click on any of those. And then here is, and again, I have to move our faces out of the way. Here at the bottom of my blog, here is how I can monetize it. I am using Linktree. For those of you that are just getting started, take some notes. I am using Linktree as my electronic business card because nowadays I don't even buy business cards anymore. I do a lot of networking events. And my Linktree also has a QR code and people can just put their camera and take a picture of the QR code and they've got it forever. They can just put their finger on the QR code in their picture album and it opens anytime they want it to. And so it's a quick way to share your information. So if you click on my Linktree, this is what comes up. And guess what? Because of building a better business, Kathy's story. Remember, nobody really cares what you do until they know that you care about them. And so in the story is where you're doing that hero's journey, where you're saying, here's where I was, here's my struggle, here's what I discovered, and here's now how I can help you. And so once they realize that you're there to help them and that you have a background in knowing how to help them, then they'll be leaning in. See, so that's why I put Kathy's story right at the top of my business card. And then, of course, the chat. And then my event calendar, and then it goes right into all of my offers, you know, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then the overview of the academy. And then it comes down to pointing back to all of that, just like my website. And so here's where they can find my podcast. Here's where they can find my blog. You see where I'm pointing back to the blog. The blog is pointing to the link tree. You see where I'm pointing constantly within my own groups back and forth. And every time somebody clicks, it raises me in the search engines. Okay. Is that helpful to everybody to know that? Okay. Again, my computer's taking a while to load. I probably shouldn't have. Yep, it stopped. Oh, let me try that again. All righty.
Do you use HostGator?
I use HostGator. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know Google had one. I may start with that. Just
the Google one is free, and I'm paying for HostGator, and not a lot, but I am paying for HostGator. Oh, of course, now it's going to make me sign everything in, and now I don't even remember which one I have. Well, before I get to that, let's just go on to something else here. So here's what I want to show you. And here's where Estella and we were working over the weekend. This is, again, I looked this up. Google's blogging platform is called Blogger, also known as Blogspot. It's a user-friendly platform that allows individuals to create, manage, and publish their own blogs. And here's an overview. It's designed to be easy to use, even for beginners. It has a straightforward interface that makes it simple to create posts, add images, and customize the layout. You can choose from a variety of templates. And this is what I like. The templates are already done. You're just picking the one you like the best. You don't have to know anything about, actually building a website. It's going to do it for you because it's already built. You just pick the one you like the best and then just change the color and pop in your pictures. It's integrated with Google services. So since it's a Google product, it will work with Google Analytics, Google AdSense for monetizing your blog, Google Drive. All of that's integrated already in there. And it's free hosting for blogs. And you can choose a subdomain under Blogspot. So it would be, I said it would be under Blogger. I guess it'll be your name and .blogspot.com. Anyhow, that's how your URL will show up. And that's okay because it's free. Yeah, you can pay more to get that word Blogspot taken out. It offers substantial storage space for images and media files because it's already in your Google Drive. And the reason I like the Google one is because I can use it on my desktop, my tablet, my laptop, my cell phone. Doesn't matter where I am. I can sign in and use it. I don't have to be sitting in front of a particular device in order to do a blog. Because My whole theory is freestyle living. I don't want to be tied to behind the desk. I want to be able to post my blog if I'm in Italy, as long as I've got a Wi-Fi, I can go right on my phone and do it. Okay. And here's something that my HostGator does not have that I do like. It says multiple authors. Users can invite multiple authors to contribute to a single blog, making it suitable for collaborative projects. I like this if you're going to do a collaboration. Now, again, my favorite phrase. I don't know about you. I didn't realize how often I use that until I mentioned it was my favorite phrase. I don't know about you, but as for me, I like to do collaborative type things. And so I am working with a group of other authors, and we've done, and Sherry's been a part of it too. We've done collaborative books together so that we can be a #1 bestseller as soon as the book hits, the Amazon for sale. And so several of us have talked about doing a collaborative blog to point back to the books. You see how whatever you point back to, it raises it in the search. So we've talked about that. And I like the idea that under Blogspot or blogger.com that you can have multiple authors. So so that's something that I'm going to research, and it's very mobile friendly. Now, for those of you that have not done a lot of creating your own websites and blogs and working with the technology, sometimes, and Linda knows what I'm talking about, sometimes you get something all built and it looks beautiful until you look at it on a cell phone and it wraps the words goofy, or it cuts off your picture, or it just isn't mobile friendly. And then you have to go back to the original and you have to try to shorten up your paragraphs or shorten up your words or make your picture so that when somebody looks at it on a mobile phone, it doesn't look like a Frankenstein website, like somebody just kind of stuck it together and they didn't know what they were doing. So the point is that it has to be mobile friendly, and this Blogger or Blogspot automatically does that. Linda, comment.
Something that a lot of people don't realize is your mobile optimization is key to your Google ranking. It is a big part of the point system, I'll call it, in deciding how your website will be ranked. So if you are not mobile friendly, it's not good.
Yeah, good to know. Good to know. So there's another reason why being mobile friendly is important, and this Blogspot is mobile friendly, and it is completely free to use. There's no cost associated with creating or maintaining a blog on this platform. Okay, so hopefully that is helpful to everyone. And what I want to do now is I'm going to start a new chat. I am now in chatgpt.com. This is the free version. And I now have clicked on this little pencil up here that says new chat. You see that? And now I've got a new chat. So this is a great tool. And I want to say this in capital letters, in bold, for all of you. It is just a tool. Do not use ChatGPT solely for your writing, because after a while you will look very mechanical and you don't have you in the article. So definitely put you in the article. But this is a great template, and this is a great way to actually get started in blogging. So for my blog, and again, we're talking about blogging this week, somebody give me a topic under freestyle living that I could blog about. And I want you to pick the topic. So instead of me picking the topic, so that you can see how I use ChatGPT as a template. Who would like
Ice cream social?
Ice cream social. Okay. All right. So now what you tell Chat is what it's going to do. So I'm going to say, write a blog post about, now, do you want to talk about, Sherry, do you want to talk about having an ice cream social, how to create, how to put one on, or just the joy? Give me a little.
It's freestyle. Go for it.
Okay. So write a blog post about, let's just put in ice cream socials. Write a blog post about ice cream socials. Now, I want to tell Chat GPT a little bit more about the format because, again, remember when blogging, I said you get to find your own voice. So by finding your own voice means that you get to do a little bit of branding. Now, my branding, because I'm a teacher at heart, so my branding is I love to have all of my blogs teach something in bullet point format, nice and easy to read. You know, you get the idea instead of just having a big story. So write a blog post about ice cream socials. Give me 3 bullet points about creating my own ice cream social for my nonprofit. I do have a nonprofit. Whoops. I can't spell. And then I want to add 2 sentences under each bullet point. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you about Chat. Chat GPT, and Sherry, I know you've used it a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong. Chat has all the current information up through 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago.
I'm not sure of its limitations, but
it's something like that. It's up to either 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago, and you could Google that to find out. But the Stephanie Mila Jenkins initiative is out there already on the internet because it's my nonprofit. So I want to add 2 sentences under each bullet point and give some history about the, I can't even spell initiative. There it is. So this is what I ask. Write a blog post about ice cream socials. Give me 3 bullet points about creating my own ice cream social for my nonprofit, the Stephanie Mila Jenkins initiative. Add 2 sentences under each bullet point and give some history about the initiative. That's what I ask it to do. Are you ready? Now, I've not done this before, so hopefully it'll pick it up. And here is what it gave me. We're just going to let it do its thing there. Can everybody see it working? Let's see how far it is. Oh, it's on number 2. All right, while it's finishing, I'm going to read. How to host an ice cream social for your nonprofit, the Stephanie Mila Jenkins Initiative. Ice cream socials have long been a favorite way to bring people together, whether it's a warm summer day, crisp autumn evening. Again, it picked up the season we're in because we're getting ready to end summer. There's something about sharing a sweet treat. It's all about supporting families and individuals in need, a better way to fundraise, set the scene, and it tells you how to do it with a welcoming atmosphere, offer a variety of ice cream and toppings, incorporate fun activities and games, and then about the initiative. It's deep commitment. See, it goes right through everything already there. You see how it did that. Now, comments, questions. This is the template. And so now I can come in and I can update this however I want. Okay.
And Kathy, do you see the little paperclip next to where it says message chat? You can also add documents.
Right, yes, yep. Attach a file.
And also add documents. So what I've done is I've taken transcripts from my podcasts. I've made a text file of the transcript. I've put that in there, and I will ask ChatGPT, help me create a compelling title, description, timestamps, blog posts, and I go through like the whole list of different things that I need. And it will generate some ideas for me. Then I go over to Gemini, which
Okay.
is the Google version of ChatGPT, and it is up to date. It is current, latest information. I will give it the same directions with the same text
The
file,
same prompts. Okay.
and I get so much different information
Okay.
from the two AI forms. There's also another one, and that's Microsoft Copilot. I haven't used it, although I do have Microsoft, but I imagine that one's going to give me a third version. And
And
I take and
Canva.
I take the versions, and I create my own version out of it. And from there, that's what you see on my blog posts, my social media posts, etc.
Love it.
I love that. But you see how it gives you the title and it gives you whatever you ask for there. And so then I can tell chat all kinds of things from there. I can say, say create an invite for an actual event for this ice cream social. See, so you can ask it to do all kinds of things. So now I've got the blog post. Now I'm saying create an invite. See, now all you do is you're just going to clean up. You know, it's just making up a date and time. You're going to clean that up, but it's giving you the template. You see that? See, so here's how you can get the donation because you're creating a fundraiser. So now, see, here's how you can actually, and just update the links because chat just kind of makes up stuff. And so you can, and then it's even giving you a tagline, building stronger communities one scoop at a time. Is that not amazing? So again, you've created the blog post back here. Then you've created the event information. Then you've created your tagline. Okay. Now I can see it say, create a Facebook post about, I'm going to say all this, include emojis. I can't even spell emojis. Include emojis and hashtags. And right there is your Facebook and or Instagram and or LinkedIn. And look how fun it made it. Look at all the emojis. And then here's all your hashtags.
Now, if you want multiple copies of the same thing, you can tell it to make 50 or 100.
Yes.
But I'm going to warn you, ChatGPT will make things up.
Oh, yes.
And so you've got to watch. So if you're asking it to pull quotes from famous people, you need to verify that it was a quote from them and it wasn't
yes.
ChatGPT creation.
Yes. Because it did just
so-
make up dates and times and everything on what I just did. It made up dates and times just to give me what I asked for. And so you'd have to go back and you'd have to correct it to the correct date, the correct time, you know. And so I agree with Sherry. The chat does make things up. So you have to verify. Like it just made up this .org. It made up this phone number. So you have to go in. Again, it's a template. Don't just copy and paste this. Use it as a template. Okay.
Now,
Give me another one. Yeah.
If you pay for ChatGPT, over on the left where it says ChatGPT and Explore GPTs, if you click on that Explore GPT and you pay for the membership, you can actually put in your business profile, like your business
Mhm.
plan in the back end, and it will constantly pull from that.
Yes. But again, I'm just using the free version. So again, I have to double check to make sure all the facts are right, that when chat makes something up, I have to just use it as a template. It's not pulling from my actual business profile. Somebody else in the group, give me a topic, something totally different than ice cream social. We'll do one more.
That's dealing with lifestyle.
Yep, just any topic that would make something that would be of interest to an audience at large.
Getting out of debt.
Getting out of
Something
debt.
like- yeah, something that would be just, strategies to get out of debt. I'm thinking of, like having something extra to get out of debt.
So you're thinking strategies to get out of debt, kind of like a second hustle.
Yeah. Mhm. Sherry, is Gemini free?
Yes, and there is a paid version.
Okay. Which one do you use?
I use the paid version of both ChatGPT and Gemini because I'm building a profile in the back end. And so it really makes it better for me to pay for both. And they're the same price, basically. I mean, it might be a couple pennies difference, but basically they're $20 a month.
Okay.
I
And
don't know about Copilot. I haven't investigated that one too much.
okay. When you're talking about dysgraphia, remember I was sitting at a Panera Bread and heard a couple of ladies say that word, and I was like, ding, ding, ding. Let me ask you a question. So you're focused on kids that have dysgraphia. What about those kids that grew up and now they're adults? And do they still have dysgraphia?
Dysgraphia is a lifetime problem, and what we're working on are compensatory strategies so that the writing challenges become less of a challenge.
Mhm.
Another thing about dysgraphia is you can have a life event that you have had perfect penmanship all your life. You have a life event like a neurological event, and you can come up with dysgraphia and need to have compensatory strategies to help you with your writing after some kind of traumatic event. And I say that like I'm thinking like a neurological event, like a cerebral vascular accident or a heart attack where you had some complications or something like that. You could also have a car accident and have had something happen to your arm, and it might even be temporary, but anytime you have illegible handwriting, it's considered dysgraphia if you want to put it in the simplest terms.
Good to know. Good to know. Stella,
Yep.
check out Sherry's website. She's got tons of information, and she has a blog and all of that and podcast over there.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
here's-
put my blog in the chat, and I just had another post go up this morning.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking of adding value to our community in terms of, because I know there has to be people out there, adults that have that issue. I taught for University of Phoenix, and oh my God, it was just terrible the way some people wrote. It just didn't even make sense. So anyway.
Now
It's getting worse with the changes in education back in 2012, 2013. Now we are graduating kids from college that have never been taught to write in cursive, and we are bringing cursive back as a mandate into the curriculum. They don't even know how to teach something that they're being mandated to teach. And so it's really becoming a problem. We have 24-year-olds out there who cannot write in cursive who now need to teach it.
Wow.
good to know. Let's get back to the blogging real quick. Here is my second one. Write a blog post, strategies to get out of debt, a second hustle type business. Give me 7 strategies with bold and bullet points, and give me 2 sentences under each as a description. So I hit click and let's see what it gives me. Again, look how quickly this is going to give you a template. Number 1, freelancing. Number 2, start a blog or a YouTube channel.
It hurt you.
Imagine that, it hurt me. Sell products online, offer tutoring or teaching services, ride sharing or food delivery. That's number 5. Real estate investing. There you go, Sammy. Number 7, pet sitting or dog walking. And there's my 7. And you see where it gave me the bold, it gave me the bullet point, and then it gave me a couple of sentences description. And right there is a blog post. Now, this blog post I could use because I have a lane of real estate. I also do freelancing in my writing. I also have a blog. I also have online products. I also teach on Meetup. I don't do ride sharing or food delivery. I do the real estate, and I don't do the pet sitting or dog walking. But you see where I could monetize this blog right here, this exact blog, by just putting my links under these categories. Or if you had an affiliate link to something, you could use your affiliate links. You see how easy that would be to monetize. Sell products online. Oh my gosh. Are you an Amazon affiliate? Put your Amazon affiliate link right here. So you see,
and you notice it says Etsy, eBay, and Shopify. If you have an Etsy, eBay, or Shopify, all you do is you highlight the word, you hyperlink it. You can have 3 hyperlinks right in a row if you have all 3.
And because it doesn't have Amazon doesn't mean that when you post this, because again, here's what I say. This is your template. So now take this, okay, take this template right here and copy that. And let's see if it'll let me. And I come down here to my Google Docs and I open up a new doc and I paste it. So now I've got this in my Google Docs. So now I can manipulate it, if you will. You see what I did? As I just took the template. Now I can start putting in my links. I can add Amazon to this Etsy, eBay, and Shopify. I can add Amazon in there if that's the one I have a link to. But now I can clean this up and weave my own stories in there. My daughter, Jennifer, she's made an entire business out of doing Amazon delivery from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. Okay, for any of you looking for a side hustle, you have to be an early bird, though, if you want to do this one. She gets up at 4 o'clock. She goes to the closest Amazon warehouse. They load her up with Amazon deliveries that have to be, remember how on Amazon you can click that you want the delivery between 4 and 10 or something like that. You're like, oh, I got to have this before my day starts tomorrow. I'm out of toner for my printer. I got to have it. So you can order it on Amazon and say, I need it delivered before 10 a.m. The very next business day. Well, my daughter, Jen, she drives over to the closest warehouse at 4 o'clock in the morning. They load her up with whatever her packages are for the day. She's done by 10 a.m. and she makes a full day's wage working. She actually officially, I think, gets on the road around 5:30. So 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, and 10. So within 5 hours, she makes an 8-hour day. And by 10 a.m., she's back home. And she does that, I think, 4 days a week, and it's giving her a full-time salary. And that's her gig. That's her gig, is doing Amazon delivery. So if she were doing this post, she could include Amazon deliveries in here instead of Uber, Lyft, or DoorDash or Grubhub. She could include Amazon delivery and share how she's doing that. Okay, you see how the blog post, you can make it as personal as you want. But what I did is I took under the chat up here, I took the chat, copied it, and I went over here into my Google Docs. You can, whatever word you're using, and paste it. And now you clean it up. And then this is, once you clean it up, this is what you post. So now we go back here to chat, and I'm going to say, what pick should I use if this were my blog post? So you're thinking, okay, what kind of a picture should I use? So again, it says you could use a person working on a laptop. You could use a variety of side hustle tools. You could show a laptop, a phone, a notebook, a coffee cup on a desk. You could use a picture with a calendar or a planner with debt-free written on it. You could use money jars labeled for different purposes. See, so it gives you all kinds of pictures that you might use and, you know, to put at the top of your blog post. So
And
then
you go into Canva, and there's where the actual images are that you can pull from.
yes,
Either
or
that, or you can use Pixabay or those other,
as long as they're
uh,
free.
there's the free ones, but you can even pull from Pixabay into Canva and adapt that picture to fit your own needs.
Yes, because remember, whatever blog site you finally end up using, the picture is going to have to be a certain size and certain pixel for it to pop right in there. And Canva is the way that you can make that picture work. Does everybody who has not used Canva? Anybody not used Canva?
I have not.
Okay, when
Okay, so Kathy, I need to do a Canva training.
yes, Sherry's going to do a Canva training. Stay tuned. I'll let you know when it's going to happen. We'll do a Canva training because
Oh, I love
again,
it. Thank you.
yeah, because once you get the content, now you need to add the picture, and Canva is where you do that. So just want to make sure that everybody has all the tools that they need to make this work. So you understand how to do the blog, how to find the content, and then you're going to upload it into whatever blog spot that you had. So we've gone over, we're about an hour and a half in. So I want to go around and ask everybody, what was your aha moment for today? Anybody have an aha moment?
How many?
Well, tell me what you got, Estella.
Just the fact that how versatile and useful a blog can be in doing what I'm moving toward for this organization, as well as for my own Legal Shield business. And then also that Chat GPT, I heard you talk, you know, when we were meeting on Saturday, but just to see you actually do that was very, very helpful. And I also appreciate that Sherry talked about using Gemini. And because I like to pull things together, that's my background in sewing, you know, I come very creative. So just making it my own without, I mean, I definitely appreciate your saying that don't use the blog or Chat GPT to write all your content, because eventually, you know, they're like, but if I can use something else and then make it my own, and that was an easier way to do it. So those were my ahas. I had others, but
Great points. Great points. Sherry, I know that you're kind of in this with me. So did anything jump out at you today? Sherry's down in the weeds working
not directly with what we have been talking about, but I've been doing some background working, and I had this moment of, oh, I forgot to do. And so something that you said earlier on reminded me of a project that I have forgotten to finish. So something that you said just triggered oh, I forgot it. And that thing that I need to do is look at my automation for something that I am working on, which is not a blog post. It's something in addition to that with building your business. Don't ask me what made me think about it. And I don't even remember what you said that triggered it, but it was like, oh, I forgot this.
Good. Because again, all the rising tide raises all the ships. So if there's something that helped you take the next step on something you need to do, I get it. And sometimes that happens to me all the time. I'll be listening, to some sort of a podcast or watching a webinar, and I'm making notes off to the side because of where my business is going. And it's like, oh, I'm not going to do exactly that, but I do need to do something like that. And here's what it is. So whatever works for you. Sammy, any big aha moments for you today?
Yeah, I think it was how personal that you can make this and it still work. Like I was super nervous about making it personal without like putting all my business out there, but using my personal life to also help the business part of it.
Yeah, because again, you're kind of selling yourself, especially as a realtor. It gets personal. You are selling yourself. And there's that fine line between making it personal and still holding your boundaries. And I've got tons of lessons on that, on how to help you with that. And we won't get down into the weeds today, but Sammy, if you want to connect with me through the kathybenner.com and do a strategy call, I can actually share with you how to keep those boundaries and remind me with the words advisory board. And I can share with you how to make it very personal, but yet keep the boundaries by using an advisory board.
Okay, so do I just go on your webpage and
Yep, and just click the chat with Kathy, the 30-minute strategy, and in the comments when it says where you want to talk about, just mention advisory board.
advisory board? Okay, got you. Thank you.
And that'll trigger our conversation. I'll remember what we were talking about. So hopefully that's helpful. All right. I just want to say thanks for everyone listening today. Those that are going to listen later to the replay, thank you for tuning in. We're getting a lot of traction on our podcast and our webinars. And I just want to invite you to click through on the Zoom link to register. And once you register, you are registered for all of our Monday calls. And we do a Monday call every Monday at 12 noon, unless it's a holiday like this week. We had Labor Day, so we've scooted to Tuesday. But we're usually on every Monday at noon. And then on the third Monday of every month, we're also on at 4 for our health and wellness podcast. So join us with that if you'd like as well. Any last words, Sherry, before we go?
No, go out there, be brilliant, be awesome, and you were put here for such a time as this.
Thank you so much, Sherry. We'll see everyone next time. Bye.